my name is Avi. I always forget how to start these. This is the hardest part of every video, is starting it. Hello and welcome to my opera channel. Bam, bam, bam. I am currently completing my studies at the Royal Academy of Music. I get asked quite often, what are the steps that people need to take in order to get into music school? And once they start taking singing lessons, is that enough? When I first wanted to go to music school, I was 13 and had very big dreams and didn't really know what I needed to do. I then was studying at a local conservatoire or a arts center, music arts center in my hometown in Israel, and we had theory classes once a week, but I never really paid much mind to them and I didn't think I needed them, or I just couldn't grasp the concept because one, my music note reading wasn't ever very strong because I'm very dyslexic and it took me a really long time to be confident in reading music. Secondly, I just seemed weird. We would go and we would listen to music and we would get tested on the music and we somehow had to follow a score and I couldn't really follow it and it was just very difficult and I just didn't get it. I didn't get why it was important. And then I decided I wanted to go to music high school and suddenly I needed to know all this stuff. And I was like, but I had taken years of this. Why don't I know it? So I had to go to tutors and I'd spent a lot of money on tutors to learn all of this and how to listen to music and how to hear. So I just needed extra help to explain to me what was going on in the sheet music. But now, after many years of musical education and almost at the end of my bachelor's degree in music, I gave in my last paper yesterday, but I don't know when I'll be doing my final recital because that's actually when I graduate, but whatever. But now that I've finished all of that, I realized that I actually really did wish that I had paid attention way back when, early in the days, to all of the things that were given to me on a platter and I just couldn't figure out how to use them. And then recently, I was sent an email by a lovely girl named Evelyn asking me what are like the things that she should be working on if she wants to go to music school. I asked her if I could make a video about this because as I was writing her back, it made so much sense to put it in a video. So here goes. Here are things that I really, really wish that I would have done way back in the day when I was originally planning to go to music school. It might have made the rest of the process a little bit kinder, a little bit friendlier. Number one is definitely the music theory stuff. Music theory, music harmony, things that are not related to voice studies that I really wish that I was better at. And nowadays you can find this all online. It's so easy to find outlets in order to learn it. There are so many websites that offer information and there's so many online tutors that you could get to, and really your location should not be a consideration in this situation, especially now we're learning this when everything is on Zoom these days and not, face to face. It is a great way to learn all the basics. You don't need to be in the same room with someone and you get to learn so much about how the music speaks to you. Now, the reason all of this is important is because it helps you learn music. You grasp why the music is doing what it's doing and how it's structured, and there's just so many things that you get to learn from it. And it's really, really useful. So definitely I would say music theory and harmony, get that under your belt. You're gonna have to repeat it anyway in school. Whatever music college you go to, they're going to have it and you're gonna need to do it. But if you know how to do it and you're very confident in it, then you don't have to spend as much time in college or in university trying to learn those skills. You can just easily do those exams and pass them quickly and put your energy and emphasis into things that are more important to you, like language skills or singing technique, maybe different electives, but the idea that you don't have to harp or stress on just learning the basics where you can then expand on them, that's really important to do before you go to school. Number two on this list, or the second thing on this list, is to get really good at sight reading. The way to do this is really just very simple. You take any score, any piece of music, and just sing out the lines. We would do it back in school when I used to do this. I still hate doing this. If you grew up as part of a choir or an orchestra, then you're probably a lot better at this than most singers are. Take a piece of music and just read out the notes before you add the music, and then read out the notes with the music. So if it would be like, I'm going to use the solfege system of do, re, mi, because that's what I grew up with. read it do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and then do it to the actual music and kind of work your way up to being able to see the music and hear the music at the same time. It takes a really long time, but it's so important, and it'll help you learn music faster and be able to get so much more work. But so much of the work is last minute, and if you have that skill, you're going to be able to get work extremely quickly and you'll be able to dep. So I would definitely make sure that you're really good at sight reading. Now, a tip for this one, and to do with music theory, is to sight read them according to numbers as well. So if you have a scale, I hated the system. Hated it, could not understand why I was forced to do this so much, but now I use it all the time and it's the best thing, and I learn music so much faster because of it. It's to read out the music according to numbers on their harmonic scales. Now this is going to sound like gibberish to anyone who is not a musician, but every note has a priority. Once again, this is going to sound really confusing, but just read out the notes according to their harmonic placement on the scale. It helps the music fit into your brain, and then it also just like automatic. I don't know why it does it, but I can see the harmony a lot better that way, and it's just a really helpful tool. Next up is to read about music. Learn music history, because you get to learn so much from music history. I mean, you can nerd out about it. Which composers came before which, get to know composers' names, get to know what they're known for, what they wrote, where they came from, what's their musical style, what was going on in the world of music, who was friends with who. It gives meaning to the music in a bit more of a tangible way, or I think. From that, you also go and listen to as much music as possible. And once you have the music and the people and the faces, it can all just make sense. And when you go into the world, you actually know what people are talking about. Because very often, you will be sitting in a room in music university or college, and someone will say something about, oh, Bruckner's Concerto for an Orchestra. And you're like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I listen to that. To help you out with this, I've actually created a playlist on Spotify, so if you can check the link down below, and you can go follow along and follow me on Spotify if you'd like. I don't really know what it means to be followed on Spotify, but feel free to follow me on Spotify. And I've asked people to send in requests of what should be on the list, and so there are no duplicates. I am in charge of it, so you can't put them in. But you can please message me what you think should be in there, and what are the most important or most staple pieces of music that should be in there. The idea is that there's so much out there, but you need to be able to listen to it and not just opera, because the world is wonderful and it has a lot to offer. So don't get stuck in one thing. It's great to know as much opera as possible if you want to be an opera singer, but so much is influenced by different pieces of music, and you want to be able to see how composers listened to music and understood music, because you're not just an opera singer at the end of the day. You are a full-fledged musician when you leave the Royal Academy of Music or the Juilliard School of Music, or, any music school for that matter. It doesn't matter, you're still a full-fledged musician and you get the same education as the violinist. You guys all have the same history lessons, the same theory lessons. The only things that you have different are your performance classes. So make sure that you can have a conversation about the music that exists throughout your schooling. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I'm going to end this video here, so that's all, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Let me know in the comments box below what you think are the most essential pieces of music for someone to have in their toolkit. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you can be notified when I make a new video. Or you can also join my monthly newsletter, which is also linked below, to get a free monthly newsletter to your inbox with a bunch of extra goodies that you don't see here. Without further ado, I'm gonna go. So in the meantime, have a great week. Drink lots and lots of tea, and watch an opera, near or far, wherever you are.